This is a very small inaugural event. This will be followed by the presentations by the resource persons from Mindset. And hopefully the finish should be around. Talking వచ్చేసే అంటే we have talking and written stuff. ఇంకా కొంచెం written starting session we can have it related. Now, try to say thank you to everyone. First of all, I thank the University for permitting us to organize this event as a part of the PM-USHA program. And we also thank PM-USHA team, the Government of Education, for coming us for this particular event. And I have prepared a presentation for surviving for gracing this event and also for Sujata for sparing her time to be with us on this occasion. And also for research persons from my side. The event has been going on for the past 10-15 days, a lot of messages in between me and Vasudha, and finally it happened. Because there were a lot of teachers in between, and thank you so much for sparing your time. తర్వాత ఈవెంట్ జరుగుతోంది అంటే ముఖ్యంగా టీచర్స్ అందరూ కూడా లాస్ట్ మినిట్ గారి పర్మిషన్ వస్తుందా రాదా లేకపోతే మళ్ళీ ఏం చెప్తుంది లక్కీగా లాస్ట్ లో మనకి పర్మిషన్ వచ్చింది. సో ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ టీచర్ వాస్ వెరీ డియర్ ఫ్రమ్ చిత్తూరు అండ్ యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ తిరుపతి డిస్ట్రిక్ట్స్. మనం ఏంటంటే పొద్దున్న సెక్షన్స్ అయిపోయాక ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ మనకి వీ హ్యావ్ టూ ల్యాబొరేటరీస్ అండి. LT and library business incubators and opportunity. There are PA and technical business incubators only. For the PA, కొంచెం డిలే చేస్తున్నారు పర్మిషన్ వాళ్ళకేదో మీటింగ్ ఏంటరా ఒక being taken to PSTQE and also Sujata said we can visit the laboratory in bioscience and also the medicinal garden. Depending on the weather conditions also, hopefully it should not rain. And I thank the Mayor for facilitating the meeting of all the teachers and getting us the permission. I also thank the staff from the study center who have been helping in organizing the event, and also my colleagues, Dr. Anurada, Ms. Wajina, and others for helping making the necessary arrangements. Thank you, one and all. The party will be available in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, maybe you could just interact with the resource persons from ISER. I request them to come up the stage and take their seat so that you can start talking to them. Generally, asking them about the kind of avenues that are available. In 10 minutes, the copies are ready. So they can also have the copies. So, let's start. And the subject channel, we can use all that down. So we yes, I think that is some of the things. Thanks.
Good morning to all. I am going to Scholarship Business Science, Deputy Activa.
Morning to all. I am Mutlu Shakirullah, Director of the District, working as scholarship activities. The village is around the village. Here, Mr. Rayana is in class. Thank you for being Thank you much.
No one? Okay, that's interesting. And then these are very new terms. So these are very popular glitchy terms now. In particular, when you talk about women in STEM, because leaky pipeline, the name states the pipeline is there, but it's leaky somewhere. And what's the pipeline? From the school, I think we are all aware. We go to colleges, we do our UG and PG as well, and a lot of women now do also PhD, right? But between this PG, PhD and the post-PhD, there is a leak. Leak means I didn't bring these statistics, bar graph and data ahead, but it shows clearly that globally, so we are also part of the global game. Globally, after post-graduation and after PhD, we have enough women, and then it declines. I think for the natural reason that most often the topmost reason being the family. So therefore, it's always important how the society helps the women to keep her career and how the society ever in coming back. These are two aspects. One is maintaining the career path, and sometimes there would be a break, and how to bring her back. So that's where leaky pipeline brings her back. And the second one is the glass ceiling. Glass ceiling is the concept wherein you have a ceiling. Here, the ceiling. It's blocking here, you know the ceiling, right? You know it is blocking. But glass ceiling means it's transparent. So you don't even know there's a block there. If you go up in your career ladder, there are very few women who are in the leading position. I mean, excepting places like Mahila University, where there may be directors and registrar who are women. But if you go to IITs or any of these national institutes or any other universities, I think the top level is mostly by men. In fact, I think close to 100%, if I would say. So this is a big talk that nationally they are discussing why we don't women directors, why we don't have women registrars and so on. So because the glass ceiling, glass is transparent, you don't know, but once you reach, you hit that, and you know that you're stagnant there, you can't go beyond. So that's two concepts. I mean, we can discuss this over lunch because for the one time I'll try to go. So I'm giving icons as an example. Why I think that is because we are in the Pradesh and what we understood and what we recognized over the 10 years of ISIS being in existence in Tirupati, we didn't attract too many students. I don't know the number available, but Andhra Pradesh stayed around 87, which increased in the last 2 years. Way more earlier it was much lesser. We probably have 11 students in the term of what we recognized was the science per se is not promoted enough. I think one of the teacher clearly pointed out that we have two professional options, medicine and engineering. Right? And clearly, engineering was one of the key take professions in Andhra Pradesh. Science was quite not popular in that. And the one thing you might see there are states where most students come from, and I'm not mentioning the names of many states, but you notice that some states definitely dominate in science streams over states, and they have slightly lower skill now because of ICERs and several other institutes. We have IIT, petrol engineering in Whitehall. So several such national institutes have come up. And these are promoting science as career, and people like us are going on also making it quite common. So normally after the school, what you ask yourself is what to do next. You always wonder if you're bachelor, you always wonder should I do master or what. After school also, at around 11th class, the confusion starts again there. Because you want to know whether you're taking something the honors with time you don't know whether you teach or not. For instance, this was also very surprising to me that in Andhra Pradesh, it's either biology, physics, chemistry, or math, physics, chemistry. I think the IPC model, right, is very minimal. This is what I self are very much interested in. Wherein whenever students come the first 2 years, we try to actually bring them together and train them for all science subjects, including math. I mean, we don't categorize it separately science and math, but technically all of it together. So this is another thing. At the school level, there aren't many schools which are offering all this because you don't want to lose your math skill early at your career. I mean, later my colleague is going to talk about that in detail. I don't have to spend much time there. The next question after masters is simply, should I do a PhD? So most often this is where after masters women are starting to take it. Okay, I'm not going to say it's no. I'm going to say it is that because it's not going to be easy, but nothing is really easy. Your master was also not easy. Maybe you were you thought you were trained master very easy, but in PhD also the same difficulty. So this is what we tell all students. This is what wherever I go to schools, I always try and highlight. It is a difficult path, but it's a worth-taking path because then you are trained to be independent. PhD does not really imbibe too many skill sets in terms of subject, but imbibes a lot of skill sets in terms of personality development and you becoming an independent person, you understanding the problem in different level, and you trying to solve it in different. So that is why PhD is also quite interesting and important in the current scenario, which probably was not the case maybe 20 years ago or so. So the other question always people ask is how much can I earn? I think that is very important that I think if you're passionate about what you want to do, and not doing really well, earning definitely progress. This is something we tell our students as well, and that perhaps need not be the topmost priority, but rather we ask is like what would you like to do, and decide what is that area you like. And then what are the opportunities available in the market? So I think here I'm talking about the same thing like in the previous slide. It's more like a circle, and until you actually settle down in your career, you are going to ask some of these questions time and again. And even when you're doing PhD, then you're asking about a question in particular on bioscience, whether you are going to academia or industry. I think that is something most of us always ask, whether academics will be better or industry will be better. So always, there is a balancing act one has to take, and women tend to take at a school level. Maybe more teachers are there, but at academic level there aren't many professors. So it's a interesting flip side, right? While as profession teaching job we choose in the schools, but as a career at that level there is a flip. So these are something that I want to share across so that we keep thinking. Maybe on another occasion we can discuss that in detail as well. So now moving on to careers itself, there are, I'm putting the broader two arms. One is of academic interest and one is of industrial interest. So academic interest, I'm not listing out everything because most of us know, but I just added a couple of newer ones, quite new to the country as well as ecology, genetics, neuroscience is also coming up as a very specialized subject now because I'm a neuroscience person, but the nation is also sort of developing towards ecology, neuroscience, biodiversity, and all that. Other than the classical biology subjects, such as botany, zoology, biochemistry, microbiology, biomedical genetics. So if you go to several universities, they have interesting specialized courses. Biomedical genetics has been a very popular course over the last 2 decades in medical. And recently was in Bollywood University, they were offering chemistry. It was very interesting to me. So what it's like very different from what we had our career time. We should promote while you're not building successions. And the school children should be more promoted towards looking at each university. So whenever someone comes to me for asking, the first thing I give them the list of the universities available, list of institutes available, and to curate. That's what the student can do. Go on and see what you need to do. And then that would be a very big mentoring way as a teacher that one can do. On the right side, these are all industry relevant topics and also some academic overlaps. So these are overlapping. So there are some newer teaching and newer research areas. What I showed you were very classical and traditional topics. Now these are more newer topics wherein forensic biologists. Forensic sciences have been developing over the last 3 to 4 years. So now forensic chemists and forensic biologists, maybe the chemistry relevance of Balaram will talk later. Psychotechnologists. I think one of the upcoming field in the nation you might see is the fertility clinics. They require a lot of psychotechnologists who are specialized in cellular areas, cell biology and cytobiology and so on. So these are the upcoming areas which many current students are not really aware. Medical technologists. So this is in the interface between engineering and biology. So unless you have understood the biology, then you may not be able to do certain medical equipment handling because you need both engineering from the one hand and you need the biology in the other hand because you should also know what data you're looking at, other than the fact that you're doing instrument. Then the biochemist is also gaining popularity with the number of hospitals coming up with the biochemistry division and microbiology separate. So earlier biochemistry was a more academic job, but now biochemistry is also an industry and the hospital relevant job. And business biologists. Business biologists are very interesting concept where these are people who are understanding biology and they play a very significant role in building a business strategy in pharma industry, in antibody production industry, in cosmetic industry, in therapeutic industry. So these are different industries where they are looking at the business strategy because they understand the biology, because they know how much money can spend on certain things. So they are looking at the economics of that business from a biological perspective. So pharma industry is currently the largest sector generating jobs for bioscience students in India. Following, when I say common, it also encompasses all of what I just mentioned. But there is also a big market on cosmetic industry. There are at least couple of industries around 7 carat, one which is located in Chennai and the headquarters, and there are several cosmetic industries around the nation. Very much coming up. Himalaya, most of you know, and a lot of these products are. So, what is the structure in pharma industry? Because most of us like and think about pharma industry, I'm focusing more on that. So if you take India as an example, you have what's called as the support CROs. CROs are nothing but contract research organizations, where they are basically supporting. They would be specialized in a specialized area, maybe a specific topic, and then one can reach to them and get the. So there are several CROs in the southern region, Hyderabad has several, Bangalore has several, but for you to have a quick look, you can visit places like IKP, Indian Knowledge Park, this is in Hyderabad, and also PCAM in Bangalore, Bangalore, so all these three have lists of these, really growing list. Every day there is a new startup, CRO getting in the big pharma industries that most of us are with, and also the instrument and reagent sales, right? Sigma, which Thermo Fisher, all these big companies are mostly involved in selling products. Also, they hire bioengineers, they hire people who understand biosciences very well. Because if you have to sell some products, you have to understand. Then also components can divide into small molecule and large molecule, going on drug discovery or generic production, API generic production or biotechnology or biotechnology. Again, each of these are independent topics can be discussed about a bonus discussion. Maybe we can do this in a different setup where we focus on each of these topics and look into the details of each. So when you talk about again what subject should I study, this is driven mostly by personal interest and some of the questions in the beginning have already pointed out. And again, some of the conventional and non-conventional jobs. I talked about subject relevant jobs, but now the position relevant job per se. So there is the lab technician that most of us know. It's not as left as what we feel. Now lab technicians are also paid lucratively depending on which labs you are. I mean, for instance, if you go to these diagnostic labs, the brand one, the particular diagnostic, some of these, they have a minimal policy on how much they have to pay. So people think they are not paid enough, but even in that sector, depends on whom you are choosing, you can be paid. So it starts from lab tech to training specialist and regulatory affairs. So regulatory affairs is a very uncommon area that bioscience people are exploring very recently. So any drug that go into the market or any of these products, it can be a nutraceutical, it can be a pharmaceutical, it can be a cosmetic one. Any of this that goes to the market and for a human consumption, then there is a regulatory specialist who is going to look at it, who might be coming from different regulatory sectors. So these are something where you understand the nitty-gritties of these products, then you will be the one who is endorsing some of these. Wherein you also should know a little bit of legal, law and such. Okay? Overlap biosciences to law and legal or take up careers like that. Or the intellectual property rights, or the patent officers. So these are newer areas, and there are institutes which are offering like NALSA in Hyderabad, NLSIU in Bangalore, or Madras University. Some of them offer through distance, some of them regular courses. So these are some things you can take up. On the right side is non-conventional science writing, science popularizing, science, media communication. So many of them. I did talk about patent and forensic museum display. One of us trying now is Science Gallery in Bangalore, a big initiative from the nation, from the PM office directly, where they are really promoting science, and you can see a cluster of a lot of these people in the science gallery. So these are again some regular job prospects. So you can, I think one new one that I talked about is IP and patent, and also the animal and in vitro experimental expert or toxicologist. I think there's a very interesting pharma and toxicology department at Manila University as well. Hopefully you get some time to visit them. And I think regulatory professionals always have covers. Move on. Just taking about medical writing. This is one of a completely new field in the last 3 4 decades. So these are very good for women because a lot of them can be a remote job. A lot of my friends, my colleagues, after PhD, they have moved to US, Europe, wherever, but they're working from home with a lot of big companies like Novartis or Capital. So they are involved in this medical writing. So they decode patient data, they do a lot of this work. And at different levels, they can actually do this work. So as administrators or advertisers, or, reporters, script writers, any of these roles. So it's not limited at all. I noticed some of you are noting down and taking pictures, so you can probably discuss with me later. So, two slides on what skills that you should develop. See, so much is available in the market. It's not as much as before. Do I have maybe 5 minutes? No. But then I can just quickly go on. So, this is something most of you are aware. What I would like to highlight here is teamwork skills are important, interpersonal skills are important, and motivation and a strong work ethic. So when you are in a team working, so you need to be in your own work ethics to actually motivate yourself and others and work together. Teamwork is the top priority in order to get into some of these sectors because you are going to work with a big team and sometimes the teams like can be 30, 40. So I think I'll skip this, we can discuss. So a career for you is a combination of several factors here. Starting from, your interest, personality, physical attributes, and then how you present and so on. And you can see the external ring that you see, it's very important. One of the things is the family, workplace. All this affects a lot. So it's not very easy, and this is true for men as well. I'm not saying it's only a women-centric problem, but the family per se, as I just talked in the beginning itself, is contributing a lot to the leaky pipeline. So I think the support that we get from the system is very important. Just last slide on what at ISA Sympathy we do in this line. There's a lot of sessions on talking to school students and also talking to people around us about women in science and how to promote STEM as a career. And these are some workshops. We also do invite people, Madam Dr. Bharati, the Vice Chancellor from Bharati, from Abhinashalingam University in Coimbatore. So she gave a very interesting talk last year. And with this, I can end my talk. And this is our ISET Tirupati campus in the Erpedu. All of you are welcome. And feel free to come and small groups and interact with us at a more convenient time, and we can spend more time. Thank you. Please take it. Answer any three questions. Or someone has any questions? Which are the skills? ఆ skills లో మోటివేషన్ ఉండాలి, ప్యాషన్ ఉండాలి. అది ఉంటే అన్ని విస్తరించవచ్చు కదా మనం ఒప్పుకుంటారా? Yes. ఓకే, ఆ మోటివేషన్ పెట్టుకుని తర్వాత మళ్ళీ మేడం కలవండి ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు ఫ్రీగా అనిపించట్లేదు అనుకుంటున్నాను. నా డిఫరెంట్ టీచర్స్ అందరూ కూడా మీరు ఏమైనా రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవుతారా? ప్రెజెంటేషన్
Hospital management, medical hospital management, I want to know.
So I think this is a good question that you're asking. I hope I'm audible. So I think for us the nearby place other than SWIMS and RIA, Apollo University has started the hospital course. That's a very interesting. Although I did touch upon that because I thought this is sort of a more popular course in this region. So hospital management also has very good scope, and Apollo University has it, and I think Hyderabad University planning to start.
Only suitable to the science student, not.
So I think it's a combination. So what I heard from the university here, it's good to have the science background, definitely, but added advantages if you also know a little bit of. Yeah, so in the hospital management course itself, they are including all this at the complete. I mean, typically 11th and 12th, we always emphasize on PCMB, don't lose any of them, keep all of them intact so that you have better options in future. So that's the, take home.
Thank you, madam. తెలుగులోనే చెప్తాను మేడం.
I
మేము హై స్కూల్ లెవెల్లో బయాలజీ టీచర్గా చేసేసేది ఏంటంటే 10th క్లాస్ పరీక్ష అయిపోయిన తర్వాత పిల్లల్ని మీరు ఏం చేస్తారా అని అంటే చాలా మంది ఎంపీసీ బైపీసీ చెప్తారు. ఆ తర్వాత నా ఒపీనియన్ మీకు చెప్తాను, మీరు పెద్దలకు చెప్తారని. ఈ ఎంబీబీఎస్ లో మనోడు చాలా ఆరాధన ఇచ్చే పిచ్చి పెట్టిపోయి చదువుకుంటాం. ఈ ఎంబీబీఎస్ కోర్స్ ని స్ప్లిట్ చేసి ఐజర్ వాళ్ళు ఒక్కొక్క డిపార్ట్మెంట్ కి ఒక్కొక్క గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ పెడితే ఇప్పుడు కార్డియాలజిస్ట్ పర్ఫ్యూషనాలజిస్ట్ అని పెడుతున్నారు కదా. ఆ విధంగా ఒక కరికులం తీసుకొస్తే స్టెమ్ లో మన పిల్లలందరూ కూడా మన ఐజర్ ఉపయోగించుకుంటారు. ఎందుకంటే ఒక డాక్టరే అంటే అన్ని చేయలేడు, పారామెడికల్ కావాలి. కానీ మీరు పెద్దలకి ఎంబీబీఎస్ స్ప్లిట్ చేసి ఆ మెయిన్ పోగొడితే పేరెంట్స్ లో మా పిల్లలు చాలా మంది బైపీసీ చేరడానికి వెనకడు. ఇప్పుడు జూనియర్ కాలేజెస్ లో చూస్తే బైపీసీ స్ట్రెంగ్త్ గవర్నమెంట్ జూనియర్ కాలేజెస్ లో లేవు, ఎక్కడో చోటగా పెట్టుంటారు, మీకు తెలియదు. కాబట్టి మీరు కొంచెం పేరెంట్స్ కూడా, అంటే మేము కూడా పేరెంట్సే కాబట్టి ఐసర్ ఎన్ని కోర్సులు ఉన్నాయని మీ స్టేట్ చూసిన తర్వాత నాకు తెలుసు.
ఐసర్ గురించి ఒక సెపరేట్ సెక్షన్ కూడా చేయొచ్చు. అంటే ఈ రోజు మాత్రమే రేపెల్లుండి ఉంటారు. బట్ ఐసర్ గురించి మనం సెపరేట్ గా సెషన్ చేస్తాం. ఐసర్ లో పిల్లలు ఆఫ్టర్ 12th క్లాస్ వచ్చేస్తారు, బిఎస్ఎంఎస్ అని కోర్స్ ఉంది. దట్ ఈస్ వేర్ వి టేక్ దెమ్. బట్ ఇన్ ద ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద రీజియన్ ఇప్పుడు లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ నుంచి మనము చాలా మంది ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ particularly in line with popular courses and so data science and artificial intelligence. So ఇదాన్ని బిఎస్సి చేసుకున్న తర్వాత బిఎస్సి బీటెక్ బి చేసుకున్న తర్వాత ఇప్పుడు స్కూల్ నుంచి డైరెక్ట్ గా రమ్మడానికి ఒకటి ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ఉంది, దట్ ఇస్ బిఎస్ఎంఎస్. And we are very happy to come and do sessions on this in your school. This is not only for the teacher, మనకు డైరెక్ట్ గా స్కూల్ తో రిలేషన్ అందుకే నేను లాస్ట్ స్లైడ్ పెట్టింది. సో దీస్ ఆర్ థింగ్స్ దట్ వి కామన్ అబౌట్ స్టూడెంట్స్ అండ్ దే కెన్ ఆల్సో కండక్ట్ కోర్సెస్. అంటే తిరుపతిలో ఉన్న స్కూల్లో మనం చేస్తున్నాం కదా, పాపే విద్యాభవనం, పిహెచ్ఎస్ we are doing around the Tirupati. We have started. Of course, if you share interest, you can take about it. Second point is political mastership in line with what third said. If this year onwards biology department, biomedical sciences or agricultural sciences, we are discussing, we are thinking. Some will come this year, some will come next year. And man, just 10 years. We will only have 10th year. And we can permanent. So we couldn't really start, but some of that are excellent suggestions. Although medical driven courses, we may not be the experts unless we start a medical division. Okay, but we are other medics, we are not medical professionals. So, but that's a good suggestion we can think about. We'll take it to our director. And there are also department chairs here, physics and chemistry. What our director is also proposing is interdisciplinary courses, like nuclear imaging. That would have physics, that would have biology, that would have chemistry, and they can become experts into MRI or PET-CT and so on. So these are some emerging areas in the western part. We are also considering that. We'll come eventually. 100%, sir. I think the whole contingent can come to visit. Maybe not tomorrow the answer, but maybe in 2 days that we can. I think we have an outreach team also. They might also take it up. Something we can.
డే టు డే పాపులేషన్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతా ఉంది, ఫుడ్ స్కార్సిటీ ఉంది. సో అపికల్చర్ అండ్ మష్రూమ్ కల్చర్, హౌ టు డెవలప్ మష్రూమ్స్ laboratories to create their seeds etc. in laboratories. That is the best business, I think.
Good idea, sir. I don't know, honestly, that line. So something that happened in the Shendek area,
It is not
it's not very popular. That's what I mean. But microbiology as a course, wherein students would study mycology. But I don't know whether the mycology itself would be a specialized area. But I think you are looking at more than right? More than I think it's a becoming area without any.
how to culture where the microbacterium and how to propagate.
Groups like that.
Just the courses may introduce, it will be propagated and
Okay.
anyone should stand there like.
Will definitely take this part. You are a good friend by our institute. We were considering more like generic course. Maybe we can break that down into specific courses that can translate into startup or business idea immediately. I think considering the consumption of mushroom in the market, I think what you're doing. Thank you. Yeah, we can take more questions during the interaction and we can. And definitely this program is only for no, I did get out of it stay now. So you will have to. We don't need to share. Now my suggestion is like we have made a more speakers for our presentation share as మీరు ఎవరికి ఏమైనా స్టేజ్ అవైలబుల్ చేసుకుంటే అందులో కూర్చుని వాళ్ళు మీ యొక్క ప్రశ్నలకి సమాధానం సో మనం టైం సేవ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు థ్యాంక్ యూ డాక్టర్ వసుధ ఫర్ ద గ్రీన్ క్యాప్సూల్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ అండ్ మీరు కూడా ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ని రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్స్ ని ఏమైనా చూసుకుంటే కంటే నమస్ పెట్టుకోండి వీళ్ళు నాకు క్వశ్చన్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంటేషన్ ఇదే ఓకే. So now I request Dr. Arunima, you can limit your presentation to say about 12 minutes, followed by the remaining time and nothing on your time, but I think that's yeah. Right.
So the first question which might arise is why should we focus about focusing on the system, why not in gender? So let me give the motivation. She on the screen is a photo of Cecilia Fani, who was a British American astronomer and astrophysicist. In a 1921 doctoral thesis, she was the one who proposed that the sun is composed of hydrogen and helium. So let's break about that. So looking back into Cecilia Fani's life, she was from Britain, but at that time there was a doctoral program in Britain. The only profession was teacher. But she was very ambitious, so she decided to come to the US. But at that point of time, in Harvard University, there was a PhD. And she began. Unfortunately, in since one review, the review was sent as after the Professor Russell. He said the results were not readable, the results spurious, it can because it clashed with the relevant notion that the constituents of the firm cannot be different into constituents of time. Okay, so it was clashing with the relevant notion, but the reviewer just relegated the results as spurious. But interestingly, the reviewer, Dr. Buffett, after a few years of time, himself found out that she claimed in her thesis was actually right, but she arrived at results in a mathematical way. Once he did he wrote up the results in a book, gave some preliminary credit to Cecilia Fani. This is stated, Dr. Wilson is known to be the person who actually made this discovery. But actually, it was Cecilia Fani. Dr. Wilson was the reviewer who originally claimed the results to be spurious. Then what happened to Cecilia? In those days, there was some position for women in astronomy in Harvard. So she was working in its prestigious positions as assistants and so on and so forth. the story. Jocelyn Garland. Uh, she is also a British astrophysicist, not so much British. She was from Ireland. And during her postdoctoral work, she discovered accidentally the clusters. The clusters are very exotic objects. These are magnetic rotating neutron stars. And this discovery led to the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1974, but she was not given the credit. She was not on the credit. Now moving on to India, Anna many of you may have heard about her. She was an Indian physicist and meteorologist with breakthrough contributions in the area of solar energy and wind power. So she did a bachelor's with major in physics and chemistry from the University College Chennai, and she did very well. And she was given a scholarship work in Indian Institute of Science under the supervision of her senior. She was working on the properties of cookies and diamonds, and she was a very hardworking student. She had several papers in this area. She was denied a PhD degree because the reason was she didn't have a master's degree. She didn't have. She slowly migrated to other areas, mainly methodology. Then she made breakthrough contributions in the agencies to the wind energy in India. Lastly, let us come to Neha Chaudhary. She was an Indian physicist who got Government Bush. He was Jagadish Chandra Bosch's brother. And she influenced the proposed nuclear ignition to become the first detect and identify the reasons. Reasons in the air. So that sets the stage as to why should be focused on area state of the yeah, most of us, all of us are in scientists, we should act case more conservatively and not public. So these slides, the one slides have been developed poster by PA, Indian Physics Association's Gender Equity Working Group. So this slide shows representation of women in physics departments across the countries. The first graph shows women physics in university. So you can see PhD in the right, there are three charts. The first one showing the PhD in the last 5 years, postdoctoral fellows and permanent faculty. This one. So out of the total pool, only about 41% of the students are female students, PhD students. So it's almost like 50-50, no more. Then most of the lecturers, the number that actually decreases. Out of the whole, all the postdoctoral fellows, 51%. So you are saying, right, up to 41% of their PhD, the doctoral fellowships are 30%. And what is the question of the government? Just about 90%. So there is a budget. This is what give evidence for that. There is an actual statistical study carried out to get this numbers. So, during physics in the universities, now it is time to do eight educational institutions, IITs, others, federal universities, and so on. So there, the institute will be 27%, 35%, and the 12th position, the fraction of the university at the 13%. What are the research institutes? Yeah, the research institutes in the country. Here and so on. PhD for about 15% of the PhD population are women. postdoctoral is about 30%, and permanent faculty about 10%. So what is the summary from this slide? The women PhD students to women faculty ratio is about 42% in group 1, that is in the universities, 47% in group 2, that is in the elite educational institutes like IITs and IITs, and about 14% in group 3, that is the research institutes. So across institutions, the leaky pipeline is evident. The postdoc fraction is almost uniform across institutions, while there is a wide difference in the faculty fraction for the three groups. The percentage of permanent women faculty is around 15% for both as well as community institutions and has not improved since 2021. The fraction of women speakers is about 19% in the group 1 universities, 22% in group 2, the elite educational institution, and 24% in group 3 in the research institutes, which is consistent with the fraction of women scientists and so on. Let us look at the representation of women in national conferences. So, in the first panel, what you see are the various national conferences on solid physics, SSP, nonlinear physics with NP, or nuclear physics with NP, high-energy physics, then nonlinear systems, and so on. So, here also you see the stark difference in the participation of women versus men scientists. So for the solid state physics conferences, the ratio is 4 is to 43, 4 is women, 43 is male, 3 is to 25, 2 is to 20, and so on. Now, in the other two panels, you see percentage of women in the organized committee, present speakers and chairs of various national conferences. So it's about, in the organizing committee, it's about 30%. In the women speakers fraction, women constitute 15%, and in as far as chair sessions are concerned, they are about 25%. So all these numbers clearly show that there is an inequity. Okay. So what do we do about it? So how do we remove this inequity? So So government and institutional measures have been taken on improving this representation. So we are all aware of this special recruitment by various institutions like IIT, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, where there is special drive to recruit women leaders. So we should keep our eyes open for such advertisements of such drive. Then for doing PhDs, institutes like ITERS have age relaxation for women. So definitely the age is not more than 30 PhD applicants, but for women candidates we do a relaxation of 5 years. Besides there like usually and so on studies pictures in the slide, which are mainly focusing on the women scientists of the country. Just to, the information has to be done and the has to be done. Now, advice. Women in science and engineering that is one of the schemes of science, SPMVV, of science and technology. So these schemes are open physics, chemistry, and physics. So the Department of Science and Technology is implementing a dedicated scheme, Women in Science and Engineering, Kiran, to cater women on for to enhance their participation in the field of science and technology. So let us take a quick look as to what are the schemes that are available in the Vice Kiran. So there are fellowship programs for doing PhD and available for the women in the age group between 27 to 45. For good. The women tend to get breaks in their career for various reasons. So the scheme will aid those people who have to take a break for some reason. Then there are opportunities for postdoctoral research under various PBM. Then the Human Instinct for Developing and Nurturing in Scientific Science and Innovations leadership, which is open for women up to 62 years of age. The Wise for the Fellowship, for example, is open for women till 60 years of age. Then we have Wise Scope, which encourages women scientists and technologists to address societal challenges through S&T intervention, again open between 27 to 60 years. All these people can get information about all these schemes on the UST website. Then there are internship for alternative career path in STEM. While earlier program provides one in the area of intellectual property rights in order to develop a professional skill in this role. During the age group between 25 to 45 years, and having a graduation of PhD or equivalent degree in basic and applied sciences are eligible for this program. Then there are overseas opportunities, travel grants provided by various schemes, and infrastructure development support in women institutions. So there are various opportunities one should make good use of these programs. Then there is opportunity for young girls, Vigyan Jyoti, which aims to encourage girls to pursue higher education and career in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, especially in the areas where women participation is low, in order to balance gender issue across the schools. And finally, there is policy intervention for gender equality, gender advancement for transforming institutions, GATI. GATI aims to develop an indigenous charter for gender equity in STEM with a focus on bringing about transformational changes at institutional level. So we all can go back and explore these options if you are interested. When research institutes have summer programs, winter programs to encourage women students in STEM programs, for example, we can usually programs by KRF. Every year they conduct a summer program, especially for women students. Similarly, some school for women students by ICDF KRF. Again, this is an annual program. Then there is this international fellowship for Amelia Fellowship available for women working in space sciences and space technology. So this is something very lucrative and various Indian women have received this fellowship. So it's worth aspiring for. Then what next? I mean, government is taking a lot of measures to promote this gender inequity. People are participating. So is the problem solved? Let us look at the landscape. So we have various societies, gender equity committees in the various physical societies and physics societies of India. For example, the Astronomical Society of India has a working group for gender equity. We regularly organize lectures and workshops and interaction sessions with students for sensitization and so on. And our lecture series is named after one we just talked about in the first slide. It was one of the posters presented by the government of the International Gender Equality. You'll get a lot of information about actual quantitative information about gender equity in this slide. Then there is gender in physics working group of the Indian Physics Association. They also do a lot of studies to give quantitative evidence of the inequity in the society. Finally, we have our Mishra Institute of Scientific Education Tirupati. We have women scientists and Tirupati who also involved in regular sensitization, arranging interaction sessions with our PhD students, with visitors on campus. Last but not the least, I urge all of you to read this famous book, Development Starters, edited by Really what today, this parts are really it tells me about all the Indian women scientists based on their respective fields. So what next? This is the last slide. I have chapter for gender equity in physics. This was, brought forth by the Gender Equity Group of Indian Physics Association in 2020. So the context is there is a wide acknowledgement by the government that gender disparity in the campus seriously impacts scientific productivity and excellence and should therefore be urgently addressed. The physics profession has among the largest gender gaps. The fraction of women with PhDs in physics who are involved in tertiary education countrywide is just 20%, far more than in say biology. The fraction comes to 10% and lower in the elite research institutions in leadership positions and in honor fields. The low fraction cannot be explained by the lack of interest in physics among them. They weigh 50% of the inspired fellowships in physics. Existing studies have found that neither a systematic competence deficit nor a productivity deficit among women scientists compared to men scientists. Responsibilities may contribute to the gender gap. The fact that the gap is higher in physics compared to say biology implies that this factor is not opposed to that there is a clear bias within the profession. Indeed, the fraction of women in positions of prestige being lower than the or 20% qualified women in the physics is a clear signature of bias in the selection. That is what I was talking about the leaking bias. The fraction of women becoming employees in the institutes is about 10% compared to 20% actually where in the profession will be post-doctoral degrees. So what are the guiding principles of the Hyderabad Charter? Gender disparity in physics is due to both inequality in wider society and gender bias within the universities. And we do not achieve gender equality and therefore conscious action is essential. Closing the quantitative gender gap at all levels of physics practice is a necessary step to achieve equality. The culture of physics also needs to transform in order to make all challenges feel welcome, to be acknowledged and used. So if you're interested, you can go through the Hyderabad Charter that's there on the WGT website. With that, I will just flash my research areas and happy for the questions.
Thank you, Dr. Ravina. Please take your seat. అమ్మా చూసుకుంటారా ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు ఇక్కడ ఒకరే యా ప్లీజ్ రేజ్ యువర్ హ్యాండ్ ఓకే మేడం చాలా చక్కగా చెప్పారు జెండర్ బాండింగ్ స్టార్టింగ్ అవును మన టీచర్ so I'm trying to understand with the academic report so it's current later. My goal is think on those lines. In the future development is for especially encouraging the young career chase for things for physics are important. But I don't make it limits. Now I request Dr. Bandhu to please come to the line. It's just class for this fellow.
Oh, okay. I'm going to talk about women particularly awareness. Now, we do a kind of statistical data in India and women's their recognition and then their opportunities, just a kind of overview. Also, what are the activities that I can do? Okay, yeah. And thank you for the resource person for this wonderful platform. And also, I'd like to thank my colleague from Biology, already set the tone for today's event. And just as we want to topic, as you can see, my title is remains same, awareness and opportunities. Good media only that awareness. And from chemist perspective, not in the general perspective, only from chemist perspective. As a chemist, how we are doing everything. And who on the word STEM? You know what I mean by STEM? STEM, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Who coined this word? In 2001, there's the American biologist and Judith Ramelli, the one on this STEM or she on this word. And also she also quoted, so I read her quote, it is impossible to make wise personal decisions, exercise good efficiency, or complete in an increasingly global economy without knowledge of science. I'm repeating the word. Global economy without knowledge of science. And the ability to apply thoughtfully and appropriately. It's very important. This is our quote. This is the meaning of state. This is the background. This is the now look at women enrollment in state. Indian concept. Okay. We'll talk about global thing and very important thing where we stand and what are the opportunities. The opportunities is your right. You take your right. Don't take opportunities with the right. And Indian concept, what is the thing? And very interesting or happy to see that there's a 40% enrollment of women in the same field. Really, India is actually the largest number in the world record. This is data is available from this newspaper taking. And another very important thing is, if you look at higher education, the enrollment of girls student or female student has gone from 1.574 to 2.074 for the last 1 decade, for the last 10 years. So almost 30 to 31% is growth. So really very encouraging one, right? And another thing is, not only at the higher education, the research field is concerned, again for the last 10 years, the percentage has increased 107. 107 percentage of PhD level has increased. These are very promising things. Okay, it means that people are girl students are coming up and they are trying to excel in their career. It's a very encouraging one. And if you thank your parents as well as the teachers for that, for the motivation, for their encouragement. Also, when you look at the enterprises, and 20% of enterprises in the country, India, is led by women, right? Again, it's a very encouraging thing. And finally, for one more very interesting data, we talk about the startup and startup and all the things, right? So there, the India is already one of the top leading player in the startup. Very 10 percentage, 10%, this is very, very significant number, 10 percentage contribution to the women. Right? So this the kind of event enrollment itself, the Indian conference. Now we look at the education sector, look at the education sector, and I have given this reference also. If anybody interested, you can go to the references, and we get a lot of students. And according to UNESCO report, 30% of students in higher education, so worldwide, 35%. Still, the number to grow is right balance is 50. So good number at this moment, but by encouraging or coming up with a new scheme, definitely the 35% can be put it into at least 40 to 45, something like that, down the line maybe 3 4 years. And look at the program, the way female students are enrolled. PhD, honor, MBA, BBA, Master of Sciences, all the data are given there. And here, we will look at it, most of time, and also Bachelor of Education. Most of time, Bachelor of Education, available with the dominating. Also, 61% in mark of science and Bachelor of Education is 65%. So, really very good number. And AP is known for engineering or technology, right? But if you look at the data, imagine less motivated or less enrolled in the BTech or BA related courses. Okay, this way either slightly after you can after the female student the better manner. Okay, and not only this is the data for the education. Look at the data for the IT sector, right? The fact that they report that it is social sciences is mostly dominated area by female or girl students, and followed by natural sciences, which includes biology, chemistry, physics, so on. And medicinal sciences also is a very interesting sector wherein many of our female students or girl students motivated to take that particular course. It's engineering is only okay. We don't know really the reason, but it's good from IPS perspective. Because IPS mostly is focusing on fundamental or basic sciences and as well as application. Look at the application. So now we come back to chemical science. Okay, I just give you an overview. Now we look at occupation in chemical sciences, particularly in and we put up. I mean, you can look at the data in the percentage wise. People start at that undergraduate level, particularly when the students they stop their career at undergraduate degree level. So you can see the top period. So 30% okay, years one. And then there must be undergraduate and then followed by graduate degree. The graduate degree is PhD at 25%. And look at the least one is the chart, a proportional recognition. That's what a professor I didn't also pointed out. So like in India there are a lot of young and very dynamic women scientists are really doing a wonder in their respective field. But when it comes to professional recognition, the same thing, Dr. Basula also mentioned that at the highest level, the kind of gap feeling, right? So somewhere they get stuck. So early we don't know the exact reason, but even if you know the reason, it is very hard to break the reason. So we need to evolve to come up or to come up with the barrier, to have to cross the barrier. And one of the opportunities in chemistry, just only one slide will give the whole picture because already Dr. Basuda clearly gave a kind of how to a complete picture of what are the earlier opportunities, not only in biology, you can go see how the science discipline changing chemistry, physics, biology, these are inseparable one. Okay, once they have the master, then we have a very particular domain can concentrate. But in right now, the other opportunities after BSc or MSc. So PhD is one option, mostly or your career in industry, maybe pharmaceutical industry, to give a elaborated view. And also, as she mentioned, the forensic science, cosmetic industries, and food science or food beverage industries. And also, very importantly, the textile industries also, you have a lot of opportunities. You can look at in that and the IIT Delhi offers textile chemistry. And also, you can see the kind of government sector. The government sector can be a scientific officer, maybe kind of lab technician, we have kind of analytical skills. And another one, also very important thing, that is IP, that is intellectual property, patent. There also already gave you a overview about the patent as well as intellectual property thing. You can be a patent agent or you can be a patent analyst also. This again a very important field one can look for. Now, what are the other programs, particularly for women scientists in STEAM, national level? This early was clearly shown to be John Jody, and truly there is another very important program called QE program. This QE program offered, I mean, by DSC, and the DSC financed 9 women universities across the nation. No, see, Padmavati Mahila Vidyapeeth from Tirupati Airport, so really funded thing, and it really encouraging one. So really funded and things are really people must require that kind of funding team. Then only can excel. And this was launched in 2008, almost 50 years is over. This program is really very encouraging program. So more need to be like more that kind of universities to be launched in future. And then other thing is already was mentioned, Kiran and Gati program also. And then the DSC Women Scientist team. So once again I'm re-emphasizing this particular program. So the reason is, I may not due to any reason, many of our women, women scientists, they have a career break. If you have a career break, not a problem. As long as you satisfy the age limit, 57 to 57, you satisfy age limit, right? Then you allow or can come back in your scientific career. Even if you have 30 years break up, it doesn't matter. You can come back. There are several programs, there are 3 different categories. In the there is women managed scheme A. This particularly for research. We want to do research after your university. We want to do research in either state level or national level universities or institutions. You are most welcome. And another thing is women scientist scheme B. It is particularly for social benefit. And then other thing is which we talk about patent as well as IP law. We are eligible when we have a career break, we can avail this WOSC program. So they give internship or fellowship. So within the fellowship, again you can restart your career or your patient. That's very important. It is a very important thing is the last 2 years, and there is no funding opportunities for any of our academicians in the because there is some revamping is going on all over India. What is the thing? They are going to start a new program called ANRF. How many of you know about ANRF or NRF? NRF, National Research Foundation. Right? So the National Research Foundation is a funding body that funds for your research and many other activities. For the last 2 years there is nothing. But except this women thing. Still is why fellowship is open. The power fellowship is open. All these programs still is running, except this program, other program will stop. This shows that the sun in area Indian, and really they are encouraging women people. They don't want to stop this program. This is very important one. And then apart from this, there is another very interesting award that's called ACS American Chemical Society Award, particularly for women in chemical science. This is heavily funded award. And the criteria already is given over there. It should be like patient enough to do that university, particularly for women scientists or digital engineer, chemist or chemical engineer. Both are eligible. And this is funded by India and International Foundation. And not only incentivize your thing, and also you get a travel expenses as well as grant for your research. Okay. This is one of the highly interesting and important award, particularly women in chemical sciences. And I've given two different things. One is that IS award, that the Nobel Prize. And Nobel Prize for women in the Nobel Prize for women in science. If you have time, you can go to the book. And then recently, 3 years before, DST, Department of Science and Technology, launched a book called 100 Success Stories of Women Scientists Key. There are 100 women scientists in state that identify who are excel in their research career, and there is an elaborated story behind their research career. It's nicely combined, and the book is available, the soft copy is available. If you go to the DSC website, you'll find this. So many of our Indian scientists out there, their book. And then another thing is, there is recognition, promotional recognition for women are very base. And this one of the highest award for research in India is Sanjitul Bhatnagar Award, the SS Bhatnagar Award. Hopefully, the four Indian women scientists in universities. Very pretty part, but sometimes not encouraging one. So first person is Fatima Kateri in 1961. She is from Kolkata. And then in 2009, Khalida Chakravarti, and she is from Delhi, theoretical chemistry. And in 2013, Professor Yamuna Kishan from Bangalore. After receiving this SF Bhatnagar Award, we moved out from India and settled down in Chicago. Presently, she is in Chicago. And 2020, and Jyoti Mai IACS Kolkata for Indian work in chemistry and chemical biology. Because of four Indian women scientists received that IAS research award. So your age must be less than 45. That's one of the basic criteria to receive this as a award. And other, not only this, you can also look at the Nobel contribution by humans. So just come to names, automatically come to the first Indian woman got this PhD degree, basically, she's the first female doctor. And then Kamala Tuni is the first Indian woman to get PhD in science physically. And then Teti Jamu from Kerala is known as Indian woman. John knows Indian woman. Yes. Indian woman? Yes. Very good. So Teti Jamu as is a method. And Chandrika Prabhu, the first male president of INSA, so one of the leading or highest academic body in India. And then Gagati Khan, and the first Indian woman to be elected of the University, fellow of Royal University. And from Tirupati or from APK, so this was the data I got it, maybe more people also. Sita, and these are females and then environmentalists. And he worked in the area of petrochemical industry for the last 25 years. And then this was one of the mathematician, and this is person in 1987, and this is also the fellow of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Any more? Please let us know. Anybody else? So we need to scientists from APC, celebrity people. And then it's not stop staying at this stage. We need to include one more letter called A. A stands for arts. Right? Then you convert this stem into C. My perspective. Okay. Make stem into C. So including R, A, that is called A. And because this art also is very important thing. Art that include dance, music, many things. You know, this is the statue of Tirupati bus stand. Who is the name? Yes, General Subbalakshmi. Bharatnagar awardee 1998. And you know where the statue is at? There it is the right? And also part of the and sometimes in the village level people say that if you don't perform well, if you don't do your thing, and maybe your parents or your your teachers, if you don't read well, you'll be in street, right? You'll be in street only. Even if you do good things, also you'll be in street as a statue. Right? Yeah, with that note, thank you. And these are PG, I told you, and 2023 we had an educational camp funded by RFP and across the Tirupati and we almost 40 school, I mean, schools were participated, around 80 students were put up in our hostels. This is a research camp, 3 days they were there and then learned all the hands-on experience. This one such program happened at like Tirupati. Another program where you maintain the gender equality, that was very important. Okay. And skill development program for BB Polytechnic teachers. And this is again it's a 3 week program and the residency program. They were there in Tirupati, then learned all the techniques. And then another program, the professional development program, particularly for MC, the collaboration with Bharati Vidya Bhavan, the conducted in the year 2024 in February. These are other activities. So Vasudha is actively involving any other activities, such kind of activities. As you mentioned, you have a separate section. Are going on in ICT. And these are our campuses, campus picture, and this is one of our iconic building, library building. This is our, what is there in there? Letter, what is that? Huh? Yeah, it is. Good. Good. So thank you. You can. Any questions? If you after lunch available, available.
Thank you, Dr. Balan. Last లో 1 చూడండి చూసారా ఆ కింద ఏం చెప్పిందో చూసారమ్మా she was the vice chancellor, the first vice chancellor of our university, and she was a very famous mathematician. That is great. That is important. That is great. Thank you, sir. And now I request Dr. Subhash Garu to please come over. So you have only 7 minutes time on testing on your time, and then we have 10 minute question because the reason is they have to be in TBI laboratory by 1:45 as well. Thank you, sir. Please start.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will keep it very short because most of what I speak are whatever I speak, spoken about these are statement by my colleagues. So, what I have to know more or less about the areas that are available here. Arunima and Radharan have spoken about the results people have made of the mission things. Like the area map, I'm not going to spend much time there also. So let us see, okay? So the advantage of doing problem solving things that you can handle any problem happens. Am I audible? Okay. Yeah. So any of you who have done math or who have done well math did not find it problem in getting a career at all. Okay? So one of the reasons being like you are so good at logical skill, logical thinking. So if you have done your math properly, you should be able to do all the problems in the industry and things. In fact, one of the co-founders of Google, his statement is like we should get a good set of maths people who are interested in math, so that like whenever a new technology comes up or things, they should be able to handle it. So they wanted a pool of people who had a very good mathematical skill set. Coming from the founder of the and so generally, people do look for, whenever you go for industry or things, people do look for persons with math skills. Okay? So again, math, there are two areas you might just look into. One is called pure math, and another is called applied industrial mathematics. Though there is no such distinction when you actually do things, you will see that industrial math includes a lot of things which come up from pure. Similarly, the pure math will take problems. So the motivation from problems will come up from the industrial perspective. So we want to apply something, there is a so let me not go into much of this. So basically, what are the careers, some career options that math students have? They can either become a mathematician, wherein they are basically doing research in maths, trying to pick up a problem, work out the problems. That is what mathematician does. Okay? Statisticians, same thing. So the only thing is that you come up with new methods. First two is more of the graphical thing. The math teacher is, I think most of you would think like, okay, math, if you get into math, only about like math teacher or creating the profession. Okay, so industry aspect. How many of you know what are all the jobs in the industry? How many of you know there are listed jobs in the industry? How many of you know what they are? Does anyone know what are they are? Do you guys know what is cryptography, actually, logicians, what they mean? Okay, so those are generally the industry jobs that you have. Cryptography is basically you are trying to, so basically you have to a lot of data goes into your mobile, there is a lot of data being transferred. So the data transfer happens, you encrypt your data, then somewhere else it has to be decrypted. So this is basically what cryptography does. Okay? Secret messages, more code, all these things were consequence of cryptography. So there is a lot of opportunities here. So as a cryptographer, you can do a systems security. So system security and all those things, the cryptographer job. Ethical hacking. So it's hackers are again like cryptographers. Okay, so that is one thing. Activity science is something where you have to analyze financial data, okay, and see whether in wake of something happening in the future, whether you can what is the risk associated, how much. So you have to basically analyze those things. So that is what activity science does. Basically, these are people who come up with the insurance policies or things like that. So they are the ones which are hired by the insurance companies and those sort of people. In fact, almost all the business enterprises will have someone with them. Okay? Logicians, what does logicians do? So you have an operation inside the industry has a present operation, okay, and you have to take care of optimize all the time, the cost, all those things. So this is what an optimal logician does. So this is also called as what is called as the operation user analyst. Okay. So optimization. So basically logicians are people who are part of the industry who optimize things, and then we have the data scientist, which is the main term these days. Okay, data scientists you see everywhere around. You have this term data science running around because there is a huge set of data generated. Biological labs, pharma industry, your streets, airports. So basically, there is a huge set of data generated. Your search history for that matter. So you are looking at the mobile phones, you keep on searching things, and suddenly like you recommend to you something that you are interested in. So basically, that data, whatever you are searching through, has been already analyzed, and then people are predicting things to you. So this is what is called as market. So another part of this. So data scientist is a huge area where you have biostatisticians, you have people who work in database administration, you have people who are data managers. Okay? So there is a huge set of people who work in the big cluster of what is called as data scientists. Okay. Then you have also financial analysis. So if you have a huge amount of money, you want to understand where to invest it. Okay? So what you basically, so whenever you go searching for thousands of things, so you basically look at all possible things, all possible options, come up with the best thing. It is the same sort of thing. When a business wants to invest in something, are going to look into all the financial data, you have to basically see, okay, is this a profitable investment or not? Okay? So that job is going to be done by financial analysts. How is it different from actually? Here you already have the data, you are going to invest. Okay? So there it was a instance, so there is some scenario where you have already invested, and then somewhere you have unpredictable things happen. So what is your risk analysis? So actually, basically it does consider risk analysis of your investments. Image processing and robotics. So these are more robotics is something that is happening right now. There is a lot of scope of happening in that. So basically, your whole analysis of where the robot should go at what speed, you have to write a lot of programs into it, and then there is a lot of happening there. Okay, in fact, at what length you can what are all the reasons that the robot think that this material can reach. So these are questions that come up with robotics. I think we should have all seen this. Photo studio you go, is there are software that have come up that okay, no matter how bad you look or how good you look, you can make all this merger disappear, make you better, all those things. So those programs are all written by technology image wherein like you can read sometimes the image will be so worse or it will be very so you have old picture for that matter, it will be like completely they can reconstruct the image. So those things involve basically the image processing. That's those are acted. There is a lot of jobs here, which is the so you can write books, you can cover the journal, part of editors, publishers, and other technical level. So this is more or less what the some jobs that the math department or the math can handle. Okay. Now to see how you get into these jobs, basically you have to get was I pointed out in the first talk, sometimes you have to get a basic graduation degree, then you try to come up with a intern or do an advanced course, take up things which are industry, which is basically to get a basic right, get a graduation, then go to papers. So this is more or less the whole procedure for all the factors. Okay, now coming back to these things, where do where can I learn more about these things? So I know, okay, math I know learn, but then pictography and things you have to measure this. These are the places that you have to look into. So some places which you can look into is so math features. So basically, if you want to do math features or things, whatever you do, you can here or for math features, there is something called an integer function. Okay, so this is not one of the other streams. So this and then you also have gate where you can calculate and other people. So again, streams. Okay, so this is more whether you want to become a competition, architect, or you want to get into a PhD, you want the procedure is. Okay. For cryptographic, there are specialized programs which either IML annual or there are four types, either IML, there is an IML annual, Delhi, and others. Okay, so practically, mostly the courses are operated. Yeah, so this is one way which offers one course. There is a closure ID methods and the closure ID elite and preparing elite to make it as well. So we can do for this is not the big level, we could have other level design. Okay, actually science, there is a institute of actually sciences. In fact, if you want to practice actually, no matter what degree or what, unless you get a certificate because you cannot be hiring other actually. You have to get a certificate for the student access. Okay? So you have to Madras offers and goals, postgraduate, global visa. Pune offers, as far as these are all very colleges. So it is not offered in a lot of places. It is a very short or only it is a very steady job, very paying job, and it is a it is a very math rich course. Okay? So it has a lot of math, it is a lot of chances into it, there is a lot of advanced analysis into it. So then what it is? Logicians, it is an operation research course. Most of the IITs are this course. Offering the Colonial data right now. That is a course in data types offered basically online. IIT Bombay has a center for the data type and artificial intelligence. It's called industrial. It's called industrial engineering. So IIT Madras and IITs fields offers data science. And these are all like very high paying jobs. If you want to cover a business, it's not like other replacement. So financial analysts, so these are people, so again, IIT, Institute of Marketing Finance, IIT Government, IIT. IIT doesn't have a program financial analysis. But what you have to say is because if you so that part is actually very much for me to line into a certain. So that's national analysis. Robotics, the Institute of Robotics, National Engineering Robotics and Artificial Intelligence. Processing, all the IIT also should hearing or artificial intelligence, machine learning, a lot of things are done with the process. So we're learning a lot of good there. So IIT Ground, getting IIT offering provision. So these are the places where you can get a basic data of graduate. See, unless you have, so even though they don't mention that you want a graduation to get into each of these areas, they expect you to have a graduation. So the minimum criteria is not graduation, but easy. But the more speed is there, they expect you to have a graduation. So the important expected one. And program is there, then even app or even step training. So what is very peculiar is the data app or engineering and technology is still very new. So if you just take the women in our part, which is completely so the women in math is generally 25% only. Even just to be compared, if the women in math, science and ethics, I'm sure it's that. This is what the women that comes to higher education. Okay? But then when you go to the women in math, the industry or job sector, it is even further down, which is almost 20%. So, that so most of the career for is better but education is the 1,000 so these are people who are not very different values. So pure impact is created by the word and trained to give themselves in the organic chemistry. But we have to understand things. We are not going to reach them, but she doesn't have to go and she used to be there in the name of the nation. So if you have one years, you get the request as a teacher every year. So this is a very motivating example. Another example is India with so that is another example where you can. There is an interesting movie that I watched recently, maybe 2017. So I'm talking about Indian. So it is a story about it is a story about three human organizations in Dhaka being discriminated for being black. So they were being discriminated just because they were black organization, or that they were very badly. And then it turned out that at some point they had to depend on GP to come up with a project completion. So the thing is point to be taken about all the stories there. You should be passionate about what you are doing. Okay? So for women especially like because their things are going on, your strength goes down. It is more to do with your passion. There are enough schemes that the government is providing all those things, but unless you are passionate, it's government whatever the government gives you or government helps it doesn't help you. Okay? So the important part to take away is that you should be passionate about math or science that you are doing, and then that will automatically start changing things. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Please take your seat. Thank you for that inspiring here. I'm passionate about it. I'm more to say, excel in the subject that we have taken. The area of the subject. One law I have to take a community. Incidentally, all the speakers to get teacher. To set for the fire, saying that anyway, for all you know that there are some activities field and we need to take that as a it's the session over. We remember we afternoon questions gathering, occasionally there are the speakers, teachers are looking for దయచేసి మీకు ఏమైనా